2 weeks earlier, everything felt different. Lila stood in her empty living room, champagne in hand. The house smelled like new paint and freedom. She had done it, every payment, every late night, every sacrifice. Her name alone on the deed, no cosigner, no help. When she called her parents, she expected pride. Her mother smiled too tightly on the screen. Her father adjusted his tie, eyes cold behind his glasses. "How many bedrooms?" her mother asked softly. "3," Lila said, still smiling. "That's quite a house for someone your age," her father replied. Her sister Bella appeared behind them, her voice sugar-coated. "Must be nice to have that kind of money." Lila laughed awkwardly, unsure if it was a joke. Bella's eyes flickered with something darker than jealousy. "Your sister's been struggling, Lila," her mother added. She could really use a stable place to start again. Lila's stomach tightened, but she brushed it off. She wanted to believe it was harmless conversation. A week later, the family call came again. Her father's voice was flat, like a business meeting. "Your mother and I have been discussing family matters." Lila froze, the tone instantly familiar. It was the same tone he used when firing employees. "We've always supported each other, haven't we?" he said. "Family helps family." Her mother dabbed at imaginary tears. "Bella needs a home to rebuild her art career." Her father leaned closer to the camera. "She has plans for that house, creative ones." Lila blinked, confused. "What house?" she asked slowly. "Yours, sweetheart," her mother said softly. Her voice cracked like porcelain. "You can rent for now. Bella will take over the mortgage." Silence filled the call. Lila's jaw locked, her heart pounding. "That's not happening," she said. "I worked for this, I earned it." Her father's expression hardened. "Don't be selfish, Lila. Family sacrifices." Bella's smirk returned, sharp and knowing. "Maybe you forgot who helped you when you were young." Lila inhaled sharply. She remembered every penny she earned, every bill she paid. No one had helped her. "Thank you for the offer," she said finally. "But my answer is no." Her mother gasped like she'd been struck. "You're tearing this family apart." Her father's voice dropped lower. "You'll regret this, Lila." The call ended abruptly, the screen going black. Her reflection stared back at her, pale and trembling. That night she couldn't sleep. The house felt too quiet, the air too heavy. She replayed their words again and again. "Family helps family, don't be selfish." By morning, she convinced herself it was just anger. They'd cool off, they always did. But when the certified letter arrived 3 days later, she realized this wasn't a misunderstanding. It was an ambush. Her parents had turned family into enemies. And her dream home had become a battlefield. The next morning, Lila sat at her kitchen table surrounded by papers. Bank statements, pay stubs, tax returns, her entire adult life on display. She needed proof, not memories, not feelings. 15 years of work reduced to numbers and ink. Her hands trembled as she opened the oldest folder. Coffee shop pay slips from when she was 16. $5.15 an hour. Split tips. Late nights smelling like espresso and exhaustion. She remembered missing Bella's sweet 16 party. Her mother had texted, "The DJ was expensive, shame you couldn't come." She'd watched it all online, Bella in a pink dress, balloons, spotlights. 3 months of Lila's, wages blown in one night. She swallowed hard and kept reading. Community college tuition payments. Receipts for used textbooks, student loan documents, bus passes. Every dollar stretched until it screamed. Her father's words echoed in her head. "If you want to be independent, then act like it." She had. Every single step of the way. But now, that independence was being used against her. Her phone buzzed. Her mother's voicemail crackled through the speaker. "Sweetheart, we've always given you both exactly what you needed. Why are you being so difficult about this?" Lila closed her eyes, bile rising in her throat. A second voicemail followed, her father this time. Don't make this harder than it has to be. Do the right thing for your family. She deleted both messages without replying. Her inbox was full of Bella's new posts. Photos of herself crying with captions about betrayal and greed. The comments were full of sympathy. No one knew the truth. They never did. She scrolled through more documents. Wire transfers to Bella, thousands for art supplies, studio rent, trips abroad. All while Lila skipped meals to make student loan payments. The contrast burned like acid. She leaned back, staring at the ceiling. It wasn't just jealousy. It was entitlement carved deep into their family story. A knock on the door broke her thoughts. It was her grandfather, Henry, holding a weathered cardboard box. Thought you might need these, he said simply. Inside were dusty binders of family records. Names, dates, transactions, decades of quiet manipulation. They did the same to your cousin, remember, he said, when he started his garage business. They tried to claim he owed them for raising him. Lila's pulse quickened. This wasn't new. It was a pattern. Generation after generation, anyone who succeeded became a target. Her phone buzzed again, Bella's number flashing. She let it ring until it stopped. Then she turned off the sound. She looked at her grandfather. I'm not going to let them win. He nodded, pride in his tired eyes. They've never gone up against someone who keeps receipts. That night, Lila began building her defense. Not with anger, but with evidence. Every document was a brick in her wall of truth. If her family wanted a war, she'd give them one made of facts. And this time, she wouldn't lose. Days turned into weeks as Lila gathered everything she could. Every document, every message, every memory turned into evidence. She spent nights at her dining table, papers spread like a battlefield. The quiet hum of her laptop was her only company. Then, unexpectedly, help began to arrive. Her grandfather came back with more boxes. Old receipts, handwritten letters, tax files, all meticulously saved. He had known for years something like this might happen. They've always chased whoever succeeded, he said. Your cousin, Thomas, lost his shop because he didn't fight. Lila looked up, eyes fierce. I'm not losing mine. The next morning, a knock echoed through the house. Her next-door neighbor, Mrs. Chen, stood holding a potted plant. Heard about your situation, she said softly. If you need someone to witness anything, I'm here. The kindness hit harder than she expected. Lila nodded, voice catching. Thank you. Later, she received an email from her old coffee shop boss. Remember your first job. Still proud of you, kid. If you need a character reference, I'll write one. The message made her hands tremble. People she hadn't seen in years were standing behind her now. Meanwhile, the harassment grew louder. Bella's posts turned uglier, painting Lila as a villain. Her parents called her office, spreading rumors about emotional instability. Her manager pulled her aside, concern in her eyes. I don't know what's happening, but take care of yourself. Lila nodded, holding back tears. She spent her lunch breaks filing motions, reading legal guides. Each late night made her stronger. Each insult hardened her resolve. She learned court language, formatting, and deadlines. Every victory, even small, felt monumental. One evening, her grandfather brought a letter. From her cousin Thomas. Heard about the lawsuit, it read. They tried the same thing on me. Don't let them win. Lila smiled faintly. The family that had been silent for years was slowly awakening. Not the one that shared her blood, but the one that shared her wounds. Her circle widened. Neighbors dropped off meals. Coworkers donated to her legal fund anonymously. Even strangers, online, sent encouraging messages after hearing her story. Each act of support stitched something back together inside her. Still, the pressure didn't stop. Aunt Nora began driving past her house, taking photos. Lila installed cameras, logged everything, documented each visit. She wasn't afraid anymore. Her home had become both fortress and proof. She sat on her porch at sunset, the world tinted orange and gold. For the first time, she didn't feel alone. She wasn't just fighting for her house anymore. She was fighting for every person told to be grateful while being drained. She looked toward the sky and whispered, "This ends with me." That night, she opened her notebook and wrote one sentence. They wanted obedience, I chose truth. And with that, Lila was no longer their victim. She was their reckoning. The courthouse smelled of paper and cold air. Lila adjusted her blazer, heart steady but heavy. 15 years of work were packed into one leather case. She walked through the marble hall, each step deliberate. Her grandfather waited by the door, nodding silently. "You've got this," he whispered. Inside, her family sat together like a portrait of unity. Her parents in tailored suits, Bella in pastel tears. Their attorney smiled like a man who thought he'd already won. The judge entered, her gaze sharp and unreadable. "All rise." Lila stood, palms damp, voice calm in her chest. The hearing began with her father's attorney speaking first. "This case centers on family obligation," he declared. The Monroes invested over $300,000 in their daughter. Lila's jaw clenched. "Objection," she said clearly. "Irrelevant. Parenting is not a financial loan." The judge nodded, sustained. Her mother took the stand next, tissue in hand. "We gave her everything," she sobbed. Private lessons, summer camps, opportunities she never appreciated. Her father followed, tone cold and businesslike. "In our family, success comes with duty. Successful children give back." The judge leaned forward. "And when was this agreement made?" Her father hesitated. "It's understood tradition." Lila rose for cross-examination. "Did you provide similar support to my sister Bella?" The opposing lawyer objected. The judge raised a hand. "Overruled. Answer the question." Her father shifted uncomfortably. Bella needed help. She was pursuing art. Lila held up a document. Exhibit C bank transfers for Bella's tuition and studio rent. Over $100,000. The courtroom fell silent. Her mother dabbed her eyes harder, but her tears looked forced. Bella took the stand next, dramatic as ever. "The house would be perfect for my art cafe," she said. "I'd even let Lila keep a room. She's good with money." The judge's eyebrow arched. "And how would you pay the mortgage?" Bella blinked. She'd handle that part. Laughter rippled through the back of the room. Lila rose slowly, spreading her documents across the table. "These are my pay stubs from age 15 to 30. Every job, every dollar earned, every tax filed." She met the judge's eyes. "I built my life alone. There was no investment, only survival." The judge flipped through the evidence. Her expression softened slightly. She turned toward Lila's parents. "Would you be making these claims if both daughters were struggling?" The silence was deafening. "I've heard enough," the judge said finally. "This case lacks merit. Property purchased independently remains independent." Her gavel struck once, sharp and final. "Case dismissed with prejudice." Her mother gasped. Bella's sobs turned shrill. Lila exhaled, knees weak with relief. Outside the courtroom, her grandfather waited. He smiled quietly. "Told you the truth holds its own weight." Lila looked back one last time. Her family huddled together, their unity cracked beyond repair. For the first time in her life, she didn't feel small. She felt free. 3 days after the verdict, the silence felt strange. Lila woke early, still half expecting another letter. The sun painted her walls gold, but peace felt fragile. Her phone buzzed, Bella's name flashing on screen. She didn't answer. Minutes later, notifications flooded in. Bella's new post read, "My sister stole my future." A GoFundMe link followed, full of fabricated sob stories. She betrayed our family after everything they gave her. Thousands of strangers commented with sympathy. Lila's stomach tightened, but she took a screenshot. Evidence, always evidence. Her grandfather called that afternoon. "Don't let their noise break you," he said firmly. "They'll try again." He was right. That night, her cameras caught headlights in the driveway. A silver sedan paused outside, then crept forward. It was Aunt Nora. She stepped out holding a spray paint can. Bright red streaks appeared across Lila's front door. The words, "ungrateful girl," gleamed under the porch light. Nora froze when the security light clicked on. The camera caught her face perfectly. She bolted for her car, but it was too late. Lila called the police, voice steady. When the officer arrived, he nodded after reviewing footage. "Crystal clear. You want to press charges?" Lila hesitated for a heartbeat, then nodded. "Yes, I'm done letting them rewrite the story." The report was filed that night. For the first time, she felt control replacing fear. The next week, she filed for a restraining order. Her lawyer smiled approvingly. "You've done your homework." At the courthouse, even the clerk recognized the family name. "Judge Martinez again," she said softly. "She'll remember." The temporary order came through within hours. No contact, no visits, no digital harassment. Lila signed each paper like sealing a wound. The quiet after felt both victory and mourning. She lost the idea of family, but gained her safety. Later that week, Mrs. Chen visited with tea and soft words. "They tried this on your uncle too," she whispered. "Your father wanted his business profits." Lila listened, the puzzle finally making sense. Generations of control, disguised as love. Her grandfather filled in the rest. "Your grandmother left college money for you both. Your parents took your share, said Bella needed it more." Lila sat in silence, anger fatting into understanding. Her grandmother had believed in her independence all along. That's why she'd left her money, separately in her will. It was never about rebellion, it was protection. The permanent restraining order hearing arrived fast. This time, no matching shirts, no tears. Her family looked smaller, quieter, desperate. Their new attorney spoke of reconciliation. But when the security footage played, their lies crumbled. The judge's voice cut clean and calm. Restraining order granted and extended indefinitely. Lila felt the weight lift at last. Outside, she breathed deep, the air cool and steady. Freedom wasn't loud. It was silence, chosen, earned, deserved. And she walked into it without looking back. A year later, the house no longer echoed with fear. The walls carried laughter instead of tension. Lila woke to sunlight, the smell of coffee, and quiet peace. Her rescue dog, Maple, wagged her tail by the door. Outside, the garden bloomed again, stubborn and bright. The red paint on her front door was long gone. In its place, a small brass plate read, "Home built on truth." Her grandfather arrived every Sunday for their workshop days. They were building a dining table by hand. "Big enough for the people who actually belong here," he said. She smiled, handing him coffee just the way he liked it. 2 sugars, no cream. The garage smelled of sawdust and healing. Later, her cousins Thomas and Rachel arrived with their kids. Neighbors joined, bringing dishes and laughter. The once isolated house became a heartbeat of connection. Mrs. Chen tended her flowers next door, waving through the fence. Even her coworkers came by on weekends, calling it family night. "Hard to believe it's been a year," Rachel said softly. "A year since they tried to take this from you." Lila looked around at the table, covered in food and stories. "They didn't take anything," she said. "They only showed me what mattered." As evening fell, the group gathered under string lights. Her grandfather stood, glass raised. "To the woman who defended her worth," he said. The toast rippled through the yard like a promise. Children laughed, Maple barked, and peace settled like warm air. When the night quieted, Lila sat on the porch swing beside him. "You didn't just win a case," he said softly. "You built a life." She nodded, watching fireflies dance in the dark. The house that once symbolized conflict now stood for freedom. Inside, her unfinished table waited solid, imperfect, honest. "Some things," she said, "take time to build right." Her grandfather smiled, eyes glinting with pride. He squeezed her shoulder. "Your grandmother would have loved this." Lila looked toward the roses she'd transplanted from her grandmother's yard. They bloomed defiantly against the fence, roots deep, petals bright. Later, she checked her phone. A message from a young coworker glowed on the screen. "I'm leaving a controlling relationship," it read. "You showed me it's possible to start over." Lila's throat tightened, but she smiled. Maybe that was her true inheritance, strength passed forward. As the stars rose, laughter drifted from inside. Her chosen family played board games at the new table. The sound was imperfect and beautiful. She leaned back, feeling the night air cool her skin. Her security system chimed once. All secure. Not a warning anymore, but a reminder. Boundaries held, peace earned. Maple rested her head on Lila's knee, sighing contentedly. Some battles end quietly. Some victories look like dinner with friends. And sometimes, family isn't what you're born into. It's what you build, one act of courage at a time. The night was calm, stars scattered across a deep sky. Lila sat on her porch, the air filled with quiet laughter inside. Her friends were cleaning up after dinner, music soft and low. Maple slept by her feet, tail twitching in peaceful dreams. The world felt still, not empty but whole. She looked at the house glowing behind her. Every wall, every mark, every memory was hers. Not because she won a court case, but because she chose herself. The old wounds no longer defined her. They became lines in the map that led her here. Her grandfather's voice echoed in her mind. Family isn't blood, it's the people who help you grow. She smiled, watching the roses sway in the night breeze. They had survived storms and still bloomed beautifully. Inside, someone called her name, warm and familiar. Lila stood, taking one last look at the stars. She had built her own peace, her own foundation. The kind made of truth, courage, and love freely given. And as she stepped back inside, she knew one thing clearly. Home was no longer a place she defended. It was the life she had created.